Title: Unexplainability of Artificial Intelligence Judgments in Kant's Perspective. Abstract: This paper explores the concept of human intelligence and its relationship with artificial intelligence, AI. It uses Kant's critique of pure reason to elucidate the structure of the a priori principle of human judgment and assesses whether AI judgments possess the characteristics of human judgments. The paper argues that AI judgments exhibit a form that cannot be understood in terms of the characteristics of human judgments according to Kant, leading to uncertainty. It also discusses the limitations of vision-based explainable AI technology and the difficulty in determining whether AI understands the concepts it processes at a level that humans would accept. Introduction: The study of intelligence is a traditional philosophical topic. Logic attempts to explain the structure of knowledge, and epistemology seeks to understand how knowledge is obtained. In computer science, the powerful learning capabilities of deep learning have attracted attention. However, the nature of the judgment made by AI is often considered a black box. Philosophy, with its tools to explain and analyze intelligence, should investigate the mimicry of the intelligence of ANs. Background: Kant's critique of pure reason proposes a table of categories to elucidate the structure of the a priori principle of human judgment. Judgments are divided into subjects and predicates. For example, in the sentence, Socrates is wise, Socrates is the subject, and is wise is the predicate. Basic information about judgment can be obtained in Kant's discussion of analytic and synthetic judgment. In all judgments, the relation of a subject to the predicate is cogitated, and this relation is possible in two different ways. Either the predicate B belongs to the subject A, as something which is contained, though covertly, in the conception A, or the predicate B lies completely out of the conception A, although it stands in connection with it. In the first instance, I term the judgment analytical, in the second, synthetical. Analytical judgments, affirmative, are therefore those in which the connection of the predicate with the subject is cogitated through identity. Those in which this connection is cogitated without identity are called synthetical judgments. Artificial intelligence. A.M. Turing provided a striking test to assess the question of whether machines can think, which is now known as the Turing test. According to this, if a machine provides responses that are indistinguishable from the way that a human would respond, then the two should not be differentiated. This aligns with functionalism in the philosophy of mind. Computer scientists generally and unwittingly adopt functionalist perspectives on the human mind. Many of these scholars contend that when computers perform human-like functions, we can recognize them as AI. Unexplainability of AI based on Kant's epistemology. When AI makes a judgment, it produces numerical outputs. For instance, in image classification, let us say that if an image contains a face, the AI outputs 1, otherwise, it outputs 0. However, the determination of whether the judgment corresponds to the form of universal, particular, or singular in Table 1 is challenging. For instance, when an ANN learns to classify a human face, people may require additional information to distinguish among statements such as, "This image has a human face," "Some of these types of images have a human face," and "All these types of images have a human face." Human beings' expressions of their judgments are made in their exact form with natural language. In the context of artificial intelligence, AI, and logic, it is essential to understand how AI makes judgments and how these judgments can be classified. In this paper, the author explores the different forms of judgment as proposed by Kant and applies them to AI outputs. The author highlights that AI outputs are represented as numbers, which cannot be classified in quantity in Table 1. The author distinguishes between affirmative, negative, and infinite forms of judgment. For instance, when an AI outputs 1 or 0 for an image containing a human face, it can be interpreted as, "This image has a human face," or "This image does not have a human face." The author suggests that AI utilizes a combination of the affirmative and infinite forms of judgment. The author also discusses the categorical, hypothetical, and disjunctive forms of judgment, which represent judgments on two concepts, the relation between two judgments and the relation between multiple judgments, respectively. The author notes that the learning process may not align with our intention, especially when AI is trained to classify objects within specific predefined classes. Moreover, the author addresses the modality form of judgment, which seems easier to put into explainable form than any of the others. This is because of the softmax function, which is applied to the final layer, ensuring that the cumulative sum of all options equals 1. This makes outputs satisfy the definition of probability. The author also discusses the limitations of vision-based explainable AI, using an experiment conducted by Seo and Lee, 2021, as an example. In this experiment, the camera's position must be taken into account to predict the speed of a ball. The author suggests that the AI utilizes boxes for information from boxes by employing GradCam. In conclusion, the author emphasizes the importance of understanding how AI makes judgments and how these judgments can be classified. The author highlights the challenges in interpreting AI outputs and the need for technologies that provide insights into how AI judgments are made. In this research, the authors explore the concept of self-consciousness in AI by employing a long-term recurrent convolutional network, LRCN, to predict the speed of a ball in a video. The LRCN model processes two-dimensional spatial information and data obtained along the time axis, utilizing a combination of a convolutional neural network, CNN, and a long short-term memory, LSTM. The authors use activation maps to identify where the AI focuses its attention, revealing that it pays attention to the balls and boxes in the scene. The authors then delve into the question of whether machines can understand the concept of self, as they seem to seek self-location. They discuss the structure of human cognition, referencing Kant's division of self-consciousness into transcendental and empirical aspects. They also review scientific investigations into bodily self-consciousness and the concept of self in individuals with autism. The authors further discuss the concept of self in animals, citing studies on place cells in the hippocampus of mice, which are activated with respect to the mouse's location. This suggests that animals process temporal and spatial information, implying the existence of the concepts of self and self-consciousness. Finally, the authors reflect on the differences between AI, humans, and animals, noting that AI can be created to have a cognitive structure similar to ours. They argue that AI researchers are not obligated to make AI explainable, but rather, they can focus on identifying parts of AI that align with human cognition and strive to make it similar to ours. This research paper explores the concept of self-awareness in artificial intelligence, AI, and its limitations in understanding human judgment. The author argues that AI systems, despite their ability to process vast amounts of data, lack a fundamental understanding of concepts and definitions, which is essential for human-like judgment. The paper begins by highlighting the differences between human and AI judgment, citing examples from generative adversarial networks and reinforcement learning. The author notes that AI systems can address problems without necessarily possessing the concept of self, as they are designed to operate within predetermined parameters. The paper then delves into the philosophy of language, referencing Kant's definition of a concept as a representation of a complete conception of a thing within its own limits. The author argues that even in natural language processing, the meaning of a word is determined by its utilization and context, making it challenging for AI systems to accurately understand concepts. The author also discusses the limitations of AI in understanding human judgment, citing the ambiguity of AI judgments and the uncertainty of whether AI genuinely comprehends the concepts it employs. The paper concludes that AI judgments cannot be fully trusted, as they lack the same categories of human judgment. The references section lists numerous studies and papers on AI, machine learning, and cognitive science, highlighting the complexity and breadth of research in this area. The papers cited range from explainable artificial intelligence to self-awareness in human and chimpanzee infants, underscoring the interdisciplinary nature of this research. In summary, this paper highlights the limitations of AI in understanding human judgment and the importance of considering the philosophical and cognitive aspects of self-awareness in AI systems. The author's argument is that AI systems, despite their capabilities, lack a fundamental understanding of concepts and definitions, which is essential for human-like judgment. Here is the combined summary of pages 9 and 10. This research draws upon a diverse range of sources from cognitive science, neuroscience, and machine learning to investigate bodily self-consciousness and its potential application in artificial intelligence. The authors cite various studies on self-referential cognition, empathy, and bodily ownership, highlighting the complexity of human consciousness. They also delve into the realm of reinforcement learning, citing Maziavkina et al.'s survey on combinatorial optimization and Sutton and Barto's introduction to reinforcement learning. The authors further explore the concept of neural networks, referencing Schaefer and Zimmerman's work on recurrent neural networks as universal approximators and Vaswani et al.'s attention-based models. They also touch upon the significance of activation functions in neural networks, citing Sharma et al.'s overview of various activation functions. The paper then shifts its focus to the concept of loss functions in machine learning, referencing Wang et al.'s comprehensive survey. The authors also discuss the importance of mean squared error as a signal fidelity measure, as outlined by Wang and Bovik. Furthermore, the authors explore the idea of machine consciousness, referencing Zhang and Zhou's approach to making smarter machines. They also cite Zhou's work on the universality of deep convolutional neural networks. The paper concludes by highlighting the significance of integrating bodily self-consciousness into artificial intelligence, proposing a novel framework that combines insights from cognitive science, neuroscience, and machine learning. This framework is illustrated in Figure 1, which depicts the interplay between self-referential cognition, bodily ownership, and reinforcement learning in achieving machine consciousness. In Table 1, the authors provide a summary of the key concepts and their corresponding references, providing a comprehensive overview of the theoretical foundations of their proposed framework.